hmm So misconception is that there's a time period on it.
Right.
I would say, when I was president and CEO of my last nonprofit, one of the first things I did was I changed the bereavement policy. And I changed it to a grief policy. The bereavement policy was, you get 3 days immediately after the death of someone, and here are the certain people that it has to be. That's not a policy that's culturally competent, that understands what the grief journey is. It's a journey. I changed it.
Hello, everybody. It's Annika LaQuette here, the host and creator of Never Gave Denied podcast. Y'all, I have Dr. D on with me today. How are you doing, Dr. D?
Doing well. It's great to see you.
It's good to see you too. So, I know you from social media, but tell everyone about you for those who don't know.
Wonderful. Well, my name is Dr. D. I am an entrepreneur. I have a coaching business. Been in the business probably about 10 years for the coaching business, but as an executive, I've worked over 30 years in nonprofit organizations as president and CEO, in New York City government as an assistant commissioner. I'm an author. I'm an educator. I'm a teacher. I'm Reverend Dr. Darlene Williams, and just overall person that loves to help individuals.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. I also work in government too, for South Carolina. But
Awesome.
yes, I love that. Oh, yes. So, okay, so as you said, you are a counselor as well, and you have other accolades as well. So what motivated you to get into all of that?
Wow. I think my journey, I've always been one to help individuals thrive and to help people who feel like they don't have hope, and need inspiration. So always wanting to inspire. So doing that through my work in government, doing that through my work in nonprofits, but also now really doing that through my work as an author and an educator. Just yesterday, we released 7 new books, a series for our youth and children on how to restore joy, how to restore hope, but also how to move past life's challenges. So it's something that I credit my parents with, the late Reverend Robert Brown and Betty Jean Brown, but also something that's it's my passion, it's my purpose.
Wow, I love that. I completely understand everything you're saying. I love that. So, okay, was there a moment when you knew God was calling you to this work of deep searching of soul and leadership development?
Yeah. I want to say, I haven't told this story in so long. I will go back to when I was 14 years old and I was a page at a library, a public library here in New York City. And after working in that library for about, I want to say, a couple of months, they promoted me to head page. So I was in charge of all of the people my age, 14, 15 years old, to make sure that we kept the library in decent order after school, which was challenging because if you remember back in the day, I don't know how old you are, but libraries after school was where everyone came to just hang out.
Yeah.
That was my first leadership experience. And from then on, when I went to high school, I was the assistant to the assistant. So I wasn't even the secretary. I was the secretary's assistant. She treated me so poorly that I knew when I became an adult that I would never be that type of leader. I would always be a leader that helped other individuals. So I think just my career trajectory has always been in the helping field and always been one to develop people and empower people because we need community and we need to know that there is hope and other people are there with us to help us move forward.
Yeah, I completely understand that. And yes, I'm 29, but even then, back then, that's what a library was.
Yes.
Games were played on the computer. That's when we hung out. So yes, I understand that. So Dr. D, you often say healing isn't just a service, it's a strategy. Can you share a personal experience that led you to this powerful conclusion?
Yes. So I said yesterday we released our 7 children's books. So these are 2 of them, Joy in the Journey, Corey and Maya. for our elementary school. For our middle school, we have Brandon and Jada. For high school, we have Elijah and Leah. And then for college, we have Rooted and Rising. But before these children's books, over the past 6 years, I went through a period of compounded grief. And you'll see the books I'm talking about in the background underneath the banner there. And that compounded grief is I lost my father, my mother, and my sister all within the past 5 years. And I'm the sole survivor, and this just happened. That experience and having so much grief and so much loss in one period of time, it solidified my purpose, and it solidified my goal and purpose in ensuring that I take my story and my message and help other individuals. Because healing, it's a journey, it's a process. There's no timetable in it. There's no exact way you should do it. It all depends on you and what's right for you and your situation. And I want to make sure that people understand that you can have joy in your journey, and your journey should be one that is authentic and genuine to what it should be for your situation.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. And to see all your books, for one, 7 books, like you have one that's dedicated to men and women, girls and boys. Like a lot of books don't happen like that. It's like mixed together, or it's just one and nothing, you know? So I
Right.
love that. Like you cater to both sexes, and I love that. I
Yeah,
really do.
absolutely. That's important because we want to make sure that the books represent who you are and you can see yourself in the characters. So that was
Yeah,
something that I just thank God that I was able to hear from him to make the books in that fashion.
yeah, I love that. Yeah. Y'all go ahead and purchase those books. Are they on Amazon?
Yes, they are on Amazon. If you search for Dr. Darlene Williams, you will see all 9 of my books on Amazon.
Okay, y'all go ahead and cop those books for your kids, for you. Okay, if you're in college
Yeah.
right now and you need some advice, go over there to Amazon and get those books. I'm excited. I want me a book. I can't wait.
Absolutely. Yes. Make sure you get it.
Oh yes, I can't wait for that. So, okay, so you stated on social media, people have mastered the art of showing up even when their heart is screaming for rest.
Mm.
So, yes, because I go back. Okay, I went all the way back.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give someone who needs to take a rest even while having a busy lifestyle?
That was me, 100%. I remember when my father was ill, I would get up in the morning, get all of my stuff together, pack my bag, go straight to the hospital, pull out his table, his tray table for his food, put my laptop on and start working and log in and freak out if their Wi-Fi wasn't working in the
Ooh,
hospital. When my mother became ill, as soon as the doctors told me what the deal was, I put in for FMLA. I knew that I wasn't going to do the same thing again twice. So what I would say is we have to take care of ourselves. Self-care is not selfish. It's actually smart. And self-care, and I'm doing a full podcast on this shortly. Self-care is not going to get your hair done, going to get your nails done. We do that, right? That's
right.
important. But that's not taking care of yourself. Self-care is really catering to your soul, to your spirit, to your body, and knowing how to say no. And knowing that no is a complete sentence and it doesn't require an explanation afterwards. It's, I can't do it. I don't want to. And the answer is no. So my advice I would give is, we have to make sure that we put ourselves first because we can't pour from an empty cup and we
True.
can't give out more than we get in. Like we have to, as many withdrawals people make, we have to make deposits. And if other people aren't making those deposits, if the relationships are not reciprocal, we have to make deposits within ourselves. So take
Mhm.
care of yourself first.
Yeah, I tell people to do this all the time. For me, I dedicate one day of the week to myself. Whether it's like I do it on a Sunday, but I try to dedicate my time to myself because I'm saying yes to everybody and everything throughout the whole week. But I
Right.
try to do one thing that's dedicate myself, and that's on a Sunday. So I don't go nowhere. I just pray. I, just be within myself. And
Yeah.
if I leave the house on Sunday, that means I love. Because, baby, I'm all about self-care on a Sunday. My friends and family know, and they know me. They like, Annika, I have an event on Sunday, and I'm like, hold up now. But I support, but I ain't gonna like
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Absolutely. It's really important. We have a Facebook group for our community called Joy in the Journey. And in that group, we encourage people, and please join the groups, share it with your audience to, share how they focus on self-care. So hearing, Sunday is your day, that'd be something that would really inspire the community, because some people just don't know how to do that. They
right.
need the tools and the resources.
Yes. Please send me that, because after this, I want to join, because I would love to join that group. Okay. Yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful.
I love that. So your coaching modules, like restoring, is it bountiful? I hope I'm saying this right.
Yes, restoring bountiful joy, and I'll
I
explain.
love that. Okay, come on, bountiful. And from broken to bold, offer unique approaches. So, what sets your methodology apart from traditional coaching?
Absolutely. So, restoring bountiful joy is the newest business I established a couple of years ago in honor of my late parents, Reverend Robert Brown Jr. and Betty Jean Brown. So, it's their initials, RBJ. And I named it Restoring Bountiful Joy because after going through such compounded grief, I wanted to make sure that I encourage people to go on this journey with me, not just for happiness, because happiness is temporary, but for joy, but bountiful joy. So joy that is just overflowing, the joy that the Lord wants us to have. So restoring bountiful joy is just that. It's a program to help coach people to find bountiful joy. I use a signature framework from my first book that was established in 2014. It's on Amazon as well. It's called Freedom Positioning System. And there are seven key steps plus three additional steps, so 10 in total, to show you how to free yourself from things that you don't realize are keeping you bound and keeping you from that joy. So freedom from anger, freedom from unforgiveness, freedom from unrealistic expectations, freedom from the approval of others, and figuring out why do we need others to approve what we do. So it's unique because it starts with a real self-assessment of what you need to free yourself from that is hindering your ability to have joy.
Right.
And then once you free yourself from those things, then you're able to move forward and looking at what does joy look like for me? And joy is different for each person. But we don't want temporary joy. We want bountiful joy. So
Yeah.
Joy in the Journey is just an amazing series that really helps to bring people into the fullness of life. Life is short and we only get one shot at this. So, when you go to homecoming services or funerals, sometimes the preacher talks about during the eulogy that dash in the middle between your date of birth and your date of transition and
Right.
what you do with that dash. I want that dash to represent joy, and I want to help people find it.
Yes, I love that. Oh my God, yes. When you think about it, it's like, yeah, I like that. I really do. And you took your time to think about every little thing and not just rush into the business. You thought about it
Yeah,
and something that would be able to help people for life. And I
absolutely.
love that. Yes, people need to hear that. y'all get into it. Dr. D is spitting knowledge over here, okay? And I am here for it, okay? So yes. All right. So as a nationally recognized grief recovery expert, what are some common misconceptions people have about grief and emotional healing?
hmm So, misconception is that there's a time period on it.
Right.
I would say, when I was president and CEO of my last nonprofit, one of the first things I did was I changed the bereavement policy. And I changed it to a grief policy. The bereavement policy was, you get 3 days immediately after the death of someone, and here are the certain people that it has to be. That's not a policy that's culturally competent, that understands what the grief journey is. It's a journey. I changed it to grief days, 7 to 10 days for up to 2 years after the person's passing that you can use whenever you want. It could be an anniversary. It can be, next week is the 6th anniversary of my father's passing. It can be a birthday. It can be just a day that you're having thoughts about that person and you need a moment. So I think a common misconception is that it's rigid. Grief is not something you can control. It's something that is there, and it's just waiting for you to acknowledge that it's there. So I want to make sure that people understand that it's authentic to each person. It can't be put in a box. And it's something that once you get counseling and talk to someone, have that safe space, that you still can have joy after grief, but you have to acknowledge what that grief journey looks like for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and especially like in movies or just like living life. People say, "Oh my gosh, they're not over that person yet. It's been about 5 years. It's been 10 years," and I'm like, that person still lost someone, and it's like that's crazy to me. I never understood that.
Right, right,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I said next week is 6 years from my dad. In that policy, I also changed what grief looks like. You can't tell someone that it's only the immediate family members. If someone loses a pet, that can be significant to them. If someone, I had one of my clients, she is a breast cancer survivor. She said she was grieving the loss of her left breast. Right? Grief is different for each person. It's not only the loss of an individual.
Yeah, I agree. And some people even like grieve their old self or their previous self. So
Yes.
yes, I completely understand that. So this is not a question that's on my card, but something just told me. What do you tell people who, like, since you are a sole survivor of your family, your immediate family, like, do you often hear people say, "Are you strong? Like, how are you so strong?" Do you get tired of hearing that?
My goodness. Check on your strong friend, right? Because,
Right.
they like, Dr. Z, how do you do this? I wrote the books Father, Mother, Sister, My Grief But God, Moving Forward Without Pieces of My Heart. Last year it was released in July. And when I released my first book in July 2014, everyone was there. And I said on a podcast recently, I would have never thought that the same people that were there would not be there 10 years later for my second book, and that book would be about them. We're strong, right? We're resilient. We are a people who know how to keep moving forward, but we're human. And people need to understand that. Yes, I have moments. Yes, I miss my family. Yes, of course, there's survivor's remorse at times. But at the same time, we have to realize that even the strong have moments where they need other people. Community is so important. So I would just encourage you to pick your circle, pick your tribe, pick your crew, whatever you call it, wisely. Don't be afraid to change those people. People are there for seasons. And if you need to move forward in a different direction, then do that. It's okay. But, you have to have people around you who understand that even though you're strong, there are times when we need for you to be the strong one for me.
Yes, I understand that. Yes, come on now. I completely do. And yeah, being strong, especially the strong friend, I'm the strong friend, okay? I sometimes need somebody to be like, Annika, are you okay?
Absolutely.
And sometimes people don't. And I'm like, okay, I gotta strengthen myself. I got this, I got this. And then sometimes my family and friends are there. They're like, are you good? Are you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. So yeah, I completely understand that. Check on your strong friends, everybody, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. All right. So what are some of you healing habits that you practice on a daily to stay emotionally and spiritually grounded?
Healing habits. So, I did a episode on this recently as well. I would say the morning. So the morning routine is super important. I encourage my family, and you're the same age as my middle child. My middle son will be 29 this year. My baby will be 24. In the morning, avoid distractions. So try to get away from checking your phone the first thing in the morning. Because if you think about it, you're getting up from hopefully what was a peaceful rest and sleep. And the first thing you do is put in your spirit what other people are saying.
Right.
You don't know if it's positive, negative, if it's a spirit that you don't want in your soul. But try to take a minute in the morning to just be still and to breathe. So my morning routine, I try to get up early, go whether I'm going to get my coffee or walking my dog or listening to music, but just how you start your day will help how your day goes. So that is one thing that is sacred to me, and it's a healing practice that I utilize. Really making sure that I start my day at a level of peace and I avoid the distractions. The other thing I would say is really ensuring that we only welcome in things that are positive for us. And that's different for each person, but ensuring that we don't allow people to put things in our spirit. I'm Reverend Dr. Darlene Williams also, so I'll use this analogy about allowing everyone to touch you or allowing everyone to pray for you. Those are things that you just can't do. So I would say develop a discernment where you can understand what's appropriate for you. And that's a healing practice that I use. And it's about self-care as well. It doesn't have to be from a spiritual component all the time, but it's about who's in your circle and who's in your tribe and really protecting that.
Yeah, I agree too. And especially about the discernment part. Because, like, with me, I can, like, sit down with someone for, like, a few seconds and I automatically know either our vibe is going to be the same or something's not right about this person. I just can't put my finger on it. So, yeah, I agree with that. People need to, learn how to choose their group better.
Absolutely.
Because who you surround yourself with can also bring you down, too, or
Yeah.
keep you stagnant. So, I agree. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
for example, like, tell me, like, for people who have those type of friend groups, like, give someone advice about, like, how to avoid that or how to be better at discerning, like, those friend groups.
Yeah, there's an analogy that just came to me, and I want to say it was Miles Monroe that said it, and he was, talking about eagles and pigeons. And if you're an eagle and an eagle is soaring and an eagle has a vision, an eagle has dreams, but the eagle tells the pigeon what their dreams and visions are, can the pigeon understand what the eagle is saying? Because the eagle can soar at such a high altitude.
Mm-hmm.
Or is the pigeon going to try to bring the eagle down to where they are? So, I would say trust yourself. If you have a red flag, it's a red flag for a reason, right? Don't ignore what you feel inside. Like you said, you can check in a moment and see that we're not gelling. So I would say trust yourself. Trust your gut, trust your opinions. If there's a red flag, pay attention to it, but also start to find ways to be in tune with your spirit and your feelings. Because God gives us that for a reason. And it's something that we need to pay attention to. I've made the mistake in the past of definitely allowing people into my circle or sharing too much information and then it being used against me in a way that, is something that is very hurtful. So I would say once something happens, don't a mistake is a mistake. You learn from it. God does not waste our pain. He also doesn't waste mistakes. So don't be afraid to learn from something that has happened and move forward. There's also a saying, first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me.
Right. I like that. Yep. You're completely right about that. But then I like what you just said when you said God doesn't waste our pain.
Yes.
Like, people don't realize that. Like, this stuff that's happening for a reason. Even though you are in the moment, things are happening for a reason. So, yes, I completely understand that. So if you could speak to every woman, because I love the question that you had, if you could speak to every woman silently carrying pain right now, what would you say?
Wow. Two things, I think. Take off the mask, because the mask is only hiding that pain, hiding that grief. I always say to people, when someone says, "How you doing? How are you today?" You say, "I'm fine. How are you?" Well, no, I'm not fine. Right? So that's the normal response. But if someone really gave you the truthful answer when you passed them and said, "How you doing?" How would you respond? So I would say, be true to yourself. And then the second thing I would say is, take a moment to just to breathe.
Right.
We live in such a fast-paced environment. We feel we have to keep up with everyone. If you're doing that and you're living that way and you're wearing this mask, that mask is going to become so heavy at a point in time, you're not going to be able to carry it. If you don't stop and take a moment to breathe, I'm a chronic asthmatic. So I know when I can't catch my breath, it feels like I'm dying. Imagine that, because you're carrying this load that you're not meant to carry. So I would say, stop and breathe. Give yourself grace and take off the mask. Find a safe place where you can be vulnerable and take that mask off. Whether it's in counseling, we have an amazing coaching program, whether it's in our coaching program, but find some place where people will pour into you and you can be true to yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Most definitely about me. Yeah, I have to give myself grace. That's something I'm working on.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm taking it day by day. But yeah, it's still a little hard because I'm so hard on myself. And like you said, it is a fast paced world, and I want things done like, come on, come on, come on. But I'm taking my time. Okay, so I love what you just said. So, do you have like any projects or things you're working on that you'd like to share today?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So please check out our YouTube channel at The Debrief with Dr. D. Our podcast focuses on healing, restoration, giving information to people to really instill hope. We have 9 books on Amazon. So if you Google, Dr. Darlene Williams, you'll see all of our books. Freedom Positioning System, established in 2014. Father, Mother, Sister, Behind Me, My Grief with God, from 2024. And just yesterday, we released our children book series. Our coaching program is amazing because we focus on helping to take people through those steps to not only restore their joy, but also to help people move forward in life. I come from a high executive level career, so I know about that executive, that worker who is leading while grieving,
Right.
who's showing up in the workplace, but they're falling apart silently. We can help you. We can help you get past that to move forward and help to enhance your leadership skills. But also, I want to speak to the children, because I know as I was going through my grief journey, it impacts your kids. It impacts those children around you. So to every teacher, to every student, get these books in your classroom. Get these books to all of your students, because we can come in and help you with the curriculum to have those conversations for each child that's in the classroom, in the school, and you think they're okay, but they're really not, because they have that hidden grief as well.
Come on now. I agree. So teachers, get up in these Amazon storefronts and actually get this book for your children, okay? Because they need some help as well. And they're probably going to like act out in a certain way and you don't know what's going on. So some stuff happens at home. So I
Yes.
love that. Get this book, okay? And lastly, give yourself a shout out. Tell people where they can follow you and everything.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. So our website is www.drdarlenewilliamsconsulting.com, and that's DrDarlenewilliamsconsulting.com. You can reach us on our website. You can go to our YouTube channel, The Debrief with Dr. D, and then, of course, you can email. So just Google me and you'll find me, and we're on LinkedIn also. So thank you, Annika, for having me on the show. I appreciate it. It's been great talking to you and to your audience.
Of course. And I want to thank you so much for coming on Navigating Our podcast today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Enjoy your day.
You too. And remember, yes, life was delayed, but it never gave a nod. I'm your host, Annika Laquette, and you just listened to Navigating Our podcast with Dr. D. Bye, y'all.
Bye.